Welcome to step 4 of the 7 steps to exhibition success with Stephen Murtagh, the exhibition guy. The next tip I want to share with you is more regarding during the show. And one could argue it's about booth and stand design. One could argue that could be beforehand. But for the purposes of this video, I want to talk to you about good and bad stand design and why your stand or your booth design matters. There are 3 key elements to exhibiting on a trade show. There is your booth, there is your product, and there's your people. With by far a distance, your people are the most important. So obviously open body language and things like that are critically important. But what I'm going to focus on in this particular step is your specific stand stroke booth design. Because it does matter. It does impact on your success. And it's really important following some really small and simple tips on booth design that will help you maybe rethink, maybe reorganize. Maybe you're doing this already, and I'm sure many of you are, but how you can just modify your booth, that's just that small bit to make it more comfortable and more amenable for your clients and your potential visitors to walk onto at MetStreet. And what we're going to focus on here is we're going to focus on the 5 elements of good stand or booth design. And the first one is lighting. Lighting is critically important. What we're trying to do is trying to focus on what I'll call our hero product or our hero service. What is the most important thing that you want people to see when they walk onto or walk towards your booth at MetStreet? And the lighting is critical. If you bring an interior designer into your house, the first thing they will, and the thing they will mostly concentrate on is lighting. And they haven't got it wrong because it's exactly the same when it comes to exhibitions. If you have to forego other things, I think you should spend more money on lighting because I think it's really, really important because that's what your visitors see is the perception. Secondly, I want to talk about simplicity. Of course, when we spend a lot of money exhibiting, you really want to bring everything that you have. You want to bring all the products and services that you have from your office. But on the product side, it's also not practical to do that. It's really important that we focus on simple, and I wouldn't use, I'll say the word basic, but very simple, functional stand design. Making it easy for people to understand what the product or service is. Showcasing your hero product, again, through light. The third area you want to focus on is the floor space. And what I'd say for anyone who's taking a reasonable size, say of 12, 14, 20 or more square meters, and you're having people or looking for people to walk onto your booth, there's a critical number that's really, really important. And it's called the 15-20 rule and the 60 rule. And let me explain. 60% of your floor space should be free for visitor access. So in other words, people walking onto and feeling comfortable walking onto your booth. That number has been taken from a survey of exhibitions all around the world. And I would also stress that number came before COVID. So it's really important to keep 60% of your floor space free for visitor access so people will feel comfortable walking on. And the 15-20 rule is about our graphics. Your graphics should be readable and visible from 15 to 20 feet away. If you sell pink widgets, you tell people you sell pink widgets, you're making one clear message so people really can see what you do. And I see this time and time, I walk exhibition halls all around the world, and I see people putting really complex graphics on the wall or on their stand or booth. And it looks fantastic when you're up close. But from a distance away, it's very hard and illegible and hard for people to understand what it is. So the simpler you can keep it, the better. And lastly, I'll talk about color. Visitors to a trade show will decide within 4 seconds if they're going to stop at your booth. So it's really important that we catch their attention. Could be use of strong, bold colors, could be the use of, say, a video on a loop or something that catches the eye. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to stop them, to get them to stop so we can engage. Really important. And those 5 elements will ensure that you stay within the parameters of good stand design, which means you will do better. And as night follows day, we talk about what are some common traits of bad stand design. The stand is a mess. And we see this all the time. There might be coffee cups, lunch cart, things like that all over the stand. It just does not look professional. We talk about the unfinished stand. Before the show opens, and about 10 minutes before the show opens, and people are still building their stand. The people who are at the front door on the first day of the exhibition are probably the most eager buyers you're going to meet. It's really important to finish our booth 2 to 3 hours at a minimum. I would say 2 to 3 hours before the show opens. The other benefit there is, aside from it looking more professional, it's better for you. You can relax, take your time, go have a coffee, get your head together, and get ready for the long day ahead. And I say the long, successful day ahead. And thirdly, we talk about an obstacle course. Having too many products on too many plinths or too many barriers, lots of barriers on the stand. It's like an obstacle course, which completely puts people off. And the more they're put off, the less they're going to stop. And lastly, I talk about TMI, too much information. Coming back to something I mentioned about good stand design, putting text after text after text and loads of phone numbers, email addresses, website addresses, and all your social media handles, platforms, whatever that might be, on your graphic makes no sense, because people will not see it. We also have to be conscious that the top third of your graphic or your wall is the most visible part of your graphic. Again, because you're standing in front of a lot of graphics a lot of the time. So it's important that we utilize the best real estate, which is the top 1/3 of the graphic if you're taking shell scheme. So really, my tip for you here today, less really is more in stand design. Keep 60% of your floor space free for visitor access, and make your graphics readable and visible from 15 to 20 feet away. And whilst you do that, you are making it easier for your buyer to walk in your stand, and making it easier for your buyer to understand what you do. You're making it easier for your buyer to do business with you. I hope you enjoyed step 4. It's Stephen Murtagh, the exhibition guy, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video for step 5.